Welcome to today's edition of Weathering the Storms of Life with the Rainses, Rob Raines, Sally Tippett Raines, STLSportspage.com, also our website, rainbowsforkids.org, for our charity arm. We're going to have some more trivia questions today, but first you brought props.
I brought props.
I guess that's going to give it away what we're talking about.
Right. Okay, so first of all, let me just do the inspiration so
Sure.
we can get that out of the way. It's a Stan Musial
Okay,
quote.
get it out of the way. It's important.
It's a Stan Musial quote, and I actually used it in the newsletter. So those of you who get the STL Sports Page newsletter have already seen this. But he said, "Get 8 hours of sleep regularly. Keep your weight down. Run a mile a day." And I looked at those things, and they're so simple. Stan was just such a simple man. He said what he meant, and that's so true. If we get some sleep, take care of what we're eating, eat the right foods, and maybe not
And
run a mile a day, but exercise.
I was going to say, if we go 1 of 3, that's a pretty good day. You're batting .333, which is about pretty close to Stan's career batting average.
Correct. Well, you can come out of this a lot better than you were before if you work it right. That's my basic words of inspiration. But we are doing these little quizzes just to give you something fun to look forward to and watch. So
And it's been fun for us to look back because the quizzes that we've been doing this week have been about the Cardinals Hall of Famers. We started with Ozzie Smith, and then did Red Shane East, and now today we're doing Stan Musial. And we've, I guess, been around long enough that luckily we've been able to know all those people on a personal basis and have them at parties and be at fundraisers with them and consider them friends. And so we've been very privileged and very lucky to do that.
it's incredible, and we've actually told our kids, Mike and BJ, as they were growing up, don't ever get used to this. This is a big thrill. You are in the presence of Stan Musial or whoever else, and never take it for granted. And we never did take it for granted.
No, I don't think so.
And I wanted to point this out. Okay, so Stan was awesome, but his wife Lil, they were just the best couple, and Lil and Stan together were just amazing. So this is what, when we had BJ, this is what Stan and Lil gave us. It's a Stan the Man official rack 'em up bat rack. You could hang it on the wall and put your baseball bats on it. And it was already autographed, which was by him, but this, just to make sure that we knew it was from them, he autographed it again after he gave it to us. And then when we had Mike, this one's actually Mike's, we had Mike a couple of years later, they remembered and gave us another one. So that was really special, and will always treasure it.
And the one memory that I have too, and I wrote this after Stan passed away, it was the column that he actually came to a birthday party of mine that you organized, a surprise party, and came and gave me this Heartland statue as a birthday present. It was obviously a collector's item. So the bat's kind of a little bit falling apart. But yeah, so it's a great memento of a great guy. And the thing I'll remember about that party too is he actually had worked in a restaurant when he was obviously owned a restaurant for a while and knew how to fold napkins and play all these little tricks with napkins. And I remember him sitting on the floor of our house playing tricks with napkins.
Yes.
Crazy.
A bunch of grown men and grown women sitting on the floor doing different tricks with the napkins. It was a lot of fun. They were fun.
It was. So, on to the trivia questions.
Okay.
All right. So we have 10 questions about Stan the Man Musial, obviously, and hopefully you'll get to go 10 for 10 on these, as you did with the Ozzy and Red questions. So play along at home or jot your answers down on a piece of paper. We'll go through all the questions and then give you the answers. Question 1. Stan is the Cardinals' all-time leader in almost every major offensive category, obviously hits, doubles, triples, home runs, RBIs, games played. What is the one major category where he ranks 6th all-time on the Cardinals' career leaders list? One category basically where Stan did not lead the team franchise all-time list. Question number 2. Stan was named the MVP, the most valuable player in the National League 3 times in his career. That total has only been matched by one other Cardinal in franchise history. Who is the other 3-time MVP in Cardinals history?
Question 3. Stan Musial was born in Donora, Pennsylvania. Most people know that. But name the other member of the Baseball Hall of Fame who was also born in Donora, Pennsylvania.
We actually went to Donora, Pennsylvania one time, drove through there on a trip.
And our car broke down. So we got to spend some time in Donora, Pennsylvania. Oh.
We did. Our car broke down in a lot of places, though,
Yeah.
back in the day. Okay. Come to question 4. Stan finished his career with 3,630 hits. What was a unique aspect to that career hit total? The unique aspect of Stan Musial's 3,630 hits.
Okay, question 5. In his final game on September 29, 1963, the Cardinals hosted the Reds at Busch Stadium. The Reds' leadoff hitter was a 22-year-old rookie who would go on to break Musial's record for the most career hits in the NL. Who was he? That's a coincidence.
It was kind of odd. Yes. Question 6. Where was Stan playing when he got the nickname Stan the Man? It was given to him allegedly by a fan at a game at what visiting stadium?
Number 7. What instrument is Stan famous for playing, especially songs like the Wabash Cannonball?
Everybody should know that if you've been around Stan Musial at any charity event. Question 8. Stan Musial might never have become a Hall of Fame hitter except for something that happened when he was playing in the minor leagues in 1940, a year before he made his major league debut. What happened in a game that season in 1940 that changed the trajectory of his career? What happened to Stan Musial during a game in the minor leagues in 1940 that changed the trajectory? That's a hard word.
Glad you got that
trajectory of his career. I can
Number
spell it. It's
9.
just hard to say.
I know. I was hoping that would be you. Number 9. Where did Musial collect the 3,000th career hit? Where did he get his 3,000th hit?
You can still hear Harry Carey making the call. Question 10. In his career, Stan won 7 batting titles, led the National League in RBIs twice, getting more than 100 RBIs 10 times in his career. But did he ever lead the league in home runs? Did Stan Musial ever lead the National League in home runs? Okay, that's our Stan Musial questions.
I like having the prop here because you can't see me holding my paper up. I can't see these answers as well as you can.
All right, on to the answers. Question
I need
1.
a teleprompter.
Stan's the Cardinals' all-time hit leader in almost every offensive category except for one. It was batting average. He had a .331 career average, but that ranks only 6th, especially if you go back to like the 1890s when the Cardinals' official franchise history began. Jesse Burkett, who played back in that day, is the all-time leader with a .378 average, but still Stan's average of .331 for his career, especially considering it was a 22-year career. Pretty darn good. Question 2. Stan was the MVP 3 times in his career, 1943, 1946, 1948. The only other 3-time winner in franchise history, of course, probably the second greatest position player in franchise history, Albert Pujols, 2005, 2008, 2009.
Question 3. Stan was born in Denora, Pennsylvania. Name the other member of the Baseball Hall of Fame who was born in Denora, Pennsylvania. Ken Griffey Jr. and also his father, Ken Griffey Sr.
Also from Denora, yes. Question 4. Stan finished his career with 3,630 hits. What was the unique aspect of that total? He got this is my statistic that just blows me away. He got exactly the same number of hits at home as on the road, 1,815. Actually needed 2 hits in his final game to match that total, so he would end up with exactly the same number of hits at home and road.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, yeah. Number 5, in his final game on September 29, 1963, the Cardinals hosted the Reds at Busch Stadium. The Reds' leadoff hitter was a 22-year-old rookie who would go on to break Musial's record for most career hits in the NL. He is not in the Hall of Fame. Who is he? Pete Rose.
Yes. All right. Where was Stan playing when he got his nickname Stan the Man, allegedly given to him by a fan in the stands? Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. Supposedly the line was, "Oh, here comes that man again."
Oh.
And it stuck. Stan the Man Musial.
Number 7, what instrument is Stan famous for playing, especially songs like the Wabash Cannonball? You can pick it up.
It's a prop.
Okay.
The harmonica.
If you can see this, it has Stan's autograph on it. And there are other people who have this. We got it at a fundraiser that he was at. It's pretty cool to have.
And he played that at my birthday.
He did play Happy Birthday.
Happy Birthday to me on, not this harmonica, but on his harmonica.
Yes.
At my birthday party.
Yes.
So, pretty honored to have that happen. Question 8. Musial might never have become a Hall of Fame hitter except for something that happened in his game that he was playing in the minor leagues in 1940. At the time, he was primarily a pitcher, a very good pitcher, but he fell playing the outfield that day in trying to catch a line drive, fell on his shoulder, and could never pitch again. I think he only had a couple outings after that in his career, so he had to switch to becoming a full-time outfielder. Just over a year later, he's playing in the major leagues. So, and obviously on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Odd
Number
how that
9, where did Musial collect his 3,000th career hit? Wrigley Field.
It was a double, pinch hit double. He wasn't supposed to play that day because he wanted to get the hit at home, and the Cardinals were coming home after that game, but they needed him it needed him to come up in a crucial situation in the game, and he got a pinch hit double. Harry Carey made the famous call, and what was significant about that day as well was the Cardinals took a train back from Chicago to St. Louis, and they had to stop at a lot of different places because all the fans had come out to the train depots on the way to greet him and to congratulate him on that hit. And really, I know the Cardinals have made a few minor train trips here and there lately. I mean, over the last several years between Washington and Philadelphia, New York, whatever. But that was, in reality, the last train trip that the Cardinals ever took as a team. Most of their travel from that point on was airplanes.
That must have been amazing because so many people had heard about it that they were just all gathered
It's
out.
Kind of like a presidential campaign where
Right.
they came out on the end of the train car and waved to everybody, and they stopped for a few minutes. So yeah.
You can do the last one.
All right, and the last one. This is an interesting question. Stan won 7 batting titles in his career, led the NL in RBIs twice, but did he ever lead the league in home runs? The answer is no, he didn't. But there's almost a little asterisk to that question. He came close once in 1948, which was the best season of his career. He hit a career-high 39 home runs. If he'd hit one more home run, he would have tied Johnny Mize and Ralph Kiner for the league lead with 40 and would have won the Triple Crown that season. The legend is that he had a home run rained out, home run in a game that was rained out that season. But unfortunately, the baseball records do not show the rained out games. And I've gone back a couple of different times and tried to research that and tried to find that game to see if that legend was true, and was never able to do it. Never able to find it. So, don't know if it was true or
Stan
not.
the Man, I'm glad we got to have the memories of him today. What a great guy. How many fundraisers. The thing about it, isn't his autograph not as expensive as
Yeah,
some
because
of
he
the
always
autographs?
signed everything. He had
Most of you people out there probably have a Stan Musial autograph.
And it's actually an interesting story about Stan Musial's autograph, because he carried a little, everybody who remembers this who ran into Stan, he carried a little personalized pre-printed card with him to give out to people, not a baseball card, but a little photo of him batting, his famous, odd, unusual batting stance that he would give out to people, and it was already pre-signed. So he didn't have to sign autographs except maybe to say to Joe or to Jim or to Phil or whatever, and they saved him a lot of time. And what the story that I heard, which I believe is true about that, is the person who taught him to do that was actually John Wayne, because he was at an event that John Wayne was at out in California, and they were actually in an elevator together, and somebody said something to recognize to John Wayne and said something to him about an autograph, and he reached in his pocket and pulled out the card. And so Stan thought that was a great idea, so he copied it and did it ever since after that.
Wow. And the Musials had so many famous friends. It was incredible. I was involved in a fundraiser, and Lil Musial, we were supposed to get, autographed items, and Lil shows up. She's got a baseball signed by Stan Musial, James Michener, and George H.W. Bush. And they had all been on a trip, and she said, hey, I need this ball signed for the barbecue, and whoever out there owns that is an incredible baseball to have all those autographs on there.
Stan and Michener were real good friends. I think that came out of the when Michener was writing a book about Poland. Obviously, right. Stan Musial was Polish heritage, and
I think that might have been the trip they went. He went with them to Poland. Here is a Stan Musial little bottle of champagne, which we've never popped open because we don't have the heart to, because it's autographed by Stan. It was from one of the fundraisers. I think this one says Covenant House, but he just lent his name and actually went to the events to so many different things. What a great guy.
Yeah, we miss him every day. So I never wrote a full book with Stan, but obviously he was involved with a lot of book projects that we did, a forward for the Cardinal Nation book and Cardinal History books, obviously a lot of extensive interviews with him, so privileged to call him a friend. So today's quiz, all about Stan the Man Musial. We'll be back with another edition as we continue weathering the storms of life here with the Ranges on STLSportsPage.com and RainbowsForKids.org.